Hey, listen, to the person that is on here right now, I see someone joined already. This is my first time really throwing music in the background. Can you hear it? Go into the comments and tell me. I'm trying to do new things. Let me know if you can hear the music. Send me a comment real quick. I just kind of want to see how it's going. It's called Lo-Fi. Lofi. Lo-Fi. It's supposed to be a groove. Hey everybody, it's Angelique. I'm excited about tonight. I had a conversation over the weekend that really guided my conversation today. And so I am really excited to bring this topic to you. It's not anything new. You know, one thing I must have learned a long time ago in the marketing game is it's not that it always has to be new, but certainly people have to hear it more than one time. Because the more they hear it, the more they remember. The more they remember, the more they can make connections to what's actually happening in their own life. And so what I'm doing is I'm just trying to make sure that I'm saying the things that you all need to hear. And I'm saying them more than once because my hope is that they stick, is that these thoughts and these concepts and these definitions, these realities, these truths stick. That's what I'm hoping for. So I'm trying something new again with this music. Whoever it is out there that's listening, shoot me a comment. I love when y'all send me comments. Let me know if you can hear it, what you think of it. I'm going to try a bunch of different things this year, try all new stuff. So I'm going to turn it up just for a second while people are joining the podcast. And listen, if you're on here and you haven't yet shared it, now's the time, because when I get into tonight's topic, I'm getting into tonight's topic. So if you haven't shared it yet, right now, tag somebody, hit that share button, share it to people you know on your own page, share it to any Facebook groups you're a part of. Doesn't matter. I promise you, with the statistics, what they tell me, somebody in every single one of your Facebook groups needs to hear this message. So welcome to my podcast tonight. Again, I'm trying some new things. I got some music in the background now. It's called Lo-Fi, y'all. So I'm kind of grooving in the beginning. But listen, if you haven't yet shared it, hit that share button. And seriously, if you have somebody on your heart tonight, I want you to tag them into this broadcast. Tag them in. Let them know that we're here tonight. So I'm getting ready to get going. I want to make sure y'all ready because we about to go, y'all. We about to go. All right. So I'm going to turn the music off so I can get started, at least pause it so I can get started because I got a lot to talk about tonight. Okay. All right. Music has stopped. Okay. So here we go. Hello. Hey, y'all. Hello to all my courageous queens, my courageous kings. I am happy again to be here. I say courageous because you know this thing I'm talking about, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, domestic abuse, to get out of it, to live through it, to even live and survive through it takes courage. So that's why I call you my courageous queens and my courageous kings. So I'm Angelique. I am friend to many of you. I am relative to others. I am also sorors to the sisters or the women of the most worthy, divine, distinguished, determined Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And to a select few of you, I am also your sister survivor of domestic violence. And so it doesn't matter how I met you, how I know you, what part you play into my life. Welcome to episode number 34 of my podcast, Silent No More. It is a domestic violence awareness and action. Let's get that clear. It is domestic violence awareness and action podcast. So I want to make sure you're aware. I'm looking for you to understand. And from that understanding, you develop an ability and a strength to take action. So I'm Angelique, survivor of domestic violence, but I'm also an advocate of freedom and truth. I am the founder of Ladder Masters Inspirational Leadership Group, better known as Ladder Masters. So I created Ladder Masters. I remind you all, I created it for three important purposes. Number one is to bring awareness. At this point, y'all should probably know them. You should probably be able to recite these back to me. Number one is to bring awareness. They all start with the B. Number two is to break down facades, because there's a lot of them. I lived through a whole facade, let me tell you. And number three is to build conquerors. I had to rebuild myself. I had to start my climb again up my ladders, which is called mastering your ladder. So that's where I'm getting this from. All right, listen, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to talk to you guys, but again, I'm going to hit play on the music just for a second. My ask, my only ask every week of you, beyond giving me your attention, is that you will take a moment to tag at least one person. Share it to at least one of your Facebook groups. And while we do that, I'm going to let the music play just for a second and let y'all just do that. If you haven't done it yet, hit that share button to your page, to your friends. Tag somebody in, type their name in, it'll pop up, it'll tag them in the broadcast. Share it to a Facebook group because this message is about to jump off. I'm going to start in just a minute. So I'm going to let this music play for a second while you tag some folks in it. Y'all ready? Y'all doing it? Let's let this music vibe for just a moment while you start tagging people. And I'm going to get going in like literally like 30 seconds. I'm looking for some comments, y'all. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Say good night. Say what's up. Say something to me. Say hello. I can't see any comments just yet, so if you put some in, my bad. But right now, I see none. All right, y'all. Here we go. Let's start. Now, y'all know me. Every week, I don't miss this. I don't miss this next thing, which is my prayer. So I'm getting ready to say a prayer. I want you to join me in that prayer because this is important. It is more than important to invite God's spirit into this moment. I have to make sure I do that. So you get ready. Let's bow our heads. Father, you created us in your image. Yes, you did. You truly did. You breathe life into us, a life that you want us to live abundantly in freedom and truth. I know it. I know for a fact. God, we were made to worship you in spirit and in truth. But Father, I know for a fact that there are women, even men, and children who are impacted by this thing we call domestic violence, domestic abuse, intimate partner violence. No matter what we call it, it is a crime. It is something that destroys lives, families, whole communities. It has done so much damage that it has gone across the world to other nations, not just America. So, God, right now, I am thinking about the victims. I am thinking about the survivors. Thank God I'm a survivor. But I'm thinking about the people who are still in their situation and they need that little bit of something to just get them over the hump, to remind them of who they are, the life that you want for them, not the life they are currently living, or should I say, surviving. So, God, right now, I ask you to just give me the words to say. Let me speak them the way they need to be spoken because there are so many that need to be helped, God. So I ask you to help them, give them the courage, help them find that courage to get out and the strength to stay out. We are overcomers. I trust you, God. I believe you. I watched you do it in my own life. So I thank you for all these things. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Woo. All right. Already. I didn't expect that. God, I thank you. I just thank you for this moment. I thank you for every single person that's on here, and I can't wait for this conversation tonight. Listen, tonight's episode. Tonight's episode is number 34. It is called Out of the Darkness, Exposing and Defining Domestic Violence. I got to expose it. I got to expose it. And to expose it, I got to tell my story. To expose it, I have to define it. I have to tell you exactly what this thing is because I promise you, leave it to an abuser, you'll never know what they're doing. You'll never understand the tactics. You'll never understand the manipulation, the cycle of abuse, the things that they're not telling you they're doing, but they're blaming on you. I got to tell it all. That's why it's called Out of the Darkness, because that's what domestic violence is. It is something that there is no light because the person who is doing the damage has no light in them. And they are bringing you into their darkness and swallowing you up into it. So let me be the one to bring you out of the darkness or help you get there and expose this thing called domestic violence, domestic abuse, intimate partner violence. I don't care what you call it. You can take the word domestic off of it. It is still violence. It is still abuse. And people try to color it and call it something else because it's happening inside of a family or inside of four walls of an apartment or a house. I don't care where it's happening. It is still a crime. And I want to be the person or one of the people who pours into your life to make sure you are clear about what you are in and that the facade and the smoke and mirrors, all of that is gone. You need truth. You need to be aware. That's how you break free. That's how you escape. That's how you conquer. So that's what I'm here for. All right, so I'm going to get started because I got a lot to say tonight. So y'all know my ground rules. Listen to me. The truth is your truth. Doesn't matter what anybody's trying to say, how anybody else is trying to color it. Nobody can tell you what you experienced, just like nobody can tell me what I experienced. And when they try to tell me, aren't you going to get tired of talking about that? Maybe I'll get tired. But guess what? This mouth will be open because there's too much to say and there's too much at stake. I have a daughter who is young, that's who's at stake for me. Her. That's who matters to me. So, nah, I won't get tired. I might feel it one day here and there, but tired to the point where I'm done. All I know is this message will always evolve. That I do know. But however I deliver it, it will always be to encourage those who had to live through, or if I could keep you from ever having to live through this thing called domestic violence. So it's going to get real today, y'all. Just roll with me because I'm going to take you there. So I told y'all today's episode is titled Out of the Darkness, Exposing and Defining Domestic Violence. And I got to tell you something because this is important and I hope I don't get emotional. But this episode is dedicated to a beautiful, strong woman who is no longer with us. And she goes by the name of Miss Gladys Godfrey. Okay? Gladys. Just keep that name in your mind as I tell you this story. We used to work together in the office that I work for here in South Carolina, Daimler's office. We worked together. Well, she was a part of the security team, and she was just a cool chick. Happened to be a Delta woman, which is awesome. But I'm gonna give y'all a little history. Let me tell you why this episode is dedicated to Gladys. You'll remember that I got out of my abusive marriage in December 2017. And at that time, I was in like a whirlwind of emotion. Like I halfway know what was going on in my mind. I was broken. I was lost. I had, I swear to y'all, like when I think back to it, I really feel like I was fighting for my sanity and my life, like the whole thing. So, and if you know me, now listen, if you really like if you know me, then you also know that I am meticulous. I can be very detailed, extremely analytical. So I'm a person that needs answers. You can't just tell me anything, okay? I need the answer and it needs to make sense. So I started to immerse myself in anything and everything I could read, find out, and I stumbled across this walk for domestic violence awareness. It was a 5K walk and it was helping to raise money for victims of domestic violence. So I was like, okay, this is something else I can do. I want to walk. I'm proud that I survived and I want to do this and I want to be among other survivors or those who support survivors. Don't forget Gladys, and she's coming in a second. Y'all ready? So I get ready to do this walk. And 7 days prior to the walk, I'm on Facebook and I'm thinking, well, you know what? I'm gonna do a countdown, right? Day 7, here's my message. Day 6, here's my message. Day 5, day 4, right? I'm putting all these messages out on Facebook about this walk and about domestic violence. But never did I say I was a survivor. So all these people that knew me on Facebook, I got a lot of friends on Facebook. All these people, I'm posting these new messages about a topic that they ain't never heard me talk about before. So they're probably like, oh, okay, well, I don't know why she posting that, but right, good, doing a walk. That's awesome, right? I'm a Delta. We do community service. We do service all the time. So maybe they just thought I was doing service. Well, I tell you what, before I made my like third or fourth post, I was on the phone with Gladys. Here we go. And she said, I said, Gladys, you see my post that I've been making about this stuff, and I'm telling her the situation and all that. She was like, girl, just like that, girl. I thought you were talking about one of your friends or a family member or a girlfriend or something. She said, I didn't think you were talking about you. I couldn't tell from what you wrote that you were talking about yourself. And something about I couldn't tell from what you wrote that you were talking about yourself. I didn't know it was you, not you, right? And it was that conversation with Gladys. It was that conversation that made me realize that a story is just a story, but there is greater power in my testimony. That's where the power is. In me actually saying out of my mouth that, yes, it was me. It was me too. It happened to me. And so people will truly connect with me, with you, with others when they knew it was me, the person that they knew from Price Street on the block, the person they knew from Girls High, the person they knew from Penn State in college, right? The girl who pledged Delta and did all this and all these activities and blah, blah, blah. The person who went back to school at Loyola, the person who worked at Daimler, right? They will connect with you when they understand it's you. So it was at that moment, Gladys helped me realize the importance of owning and telling my story. Sophie, I know you know what I'm talking about. The whole power behind owning and telling your own story. So here I am today, and I will keep telling this story. It'll change, it'll evolve because I got to evolve for the times and what you all need. But I'm going to keep talking because it's the power of our testimony. We know this is biblical. It is the power of our testimony. That's why we must tell it. Sophie's on here. Thank you, beautiful. Wow, so true, sis. They live in darkness, so they want to turn off the light. That's back to what I said in the beginning. That dark, and they want you filled with it. But God, okay? But God. So I'm going to keep going. Now, here's the thing. I got to take a step back with y'all. I got to take a step back because I'm going to hit the basics. You know why? Because I told you in the beginning, I got a marketing degree. Well, I got other degrees, but I got a marketing degree. And I learned a lot from marketing that you have to say things. Advertisers say things multiple times because they need you to remember. They need it to be top of mind, their product, their service, their brand at the top of your mind when you get ready to go out and buy something or look for something, search it on the internet. They want top of mind. Well, guess what? I need you to have top of mind awareness when it comes down to this thing called domestic violence because we run into people all the time. There's always people approaching you, trying to holler, trying to get to know you because you cute, right? You doing things. But guess what? Everybody that say you cute and doing things, they're not there for the right reasons. So let's make it plain. Domestic violence, let's define it. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, here's the definition. Domestic violence is the willful intimidation. It includes physical assault, battery, sexual assault, and other abusive behavior as part of a, listen to me, y'all, a systematic pattern of power and control. It is a systematic pattern of power and control. What does that mean? This ain't no mistake. It's not an accident. It is a systematic, pattern filled way to control another human being. Someone who is a partner, intimate partner. It's one person against another. It includes physical violence, sexual violence, threats of violence. I've been through plenty of those. Threats of violence, economic abuse, emotional abuse, and psychological abuse. There's so many ways. You know, guys, there's a thing called digital abuse where they go online and they put all kinds of things out there about you, demand access to your social media accounts, say, so they can control what you say, who you're talking to, question your friends. It is all power and control, y'all. So I'm gonna get into that more. So I want to say something. When I said systematic pattern of power and control, what I'm telling you is that this thing is intentional. It is intentional what they do. Abusers are not making mistakes. They didn't just have a moment or a oops or a my bad. It is intentional. And it could be an action against you or non-action, meaning they withheld something from you. It is all intentional. Why? Because they want to first gain and then they want to maintain power and control over another person who they claim they love. Yeah, okay. Love don't look like that. Not the love I know. Love don't look like that. Let me see, Sophie. Sophie's on here. She said, "Yes, sister. Thank you for you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you very much." Also, Oh my gosh, yes. This topic of domestic violence, we can't be silent on it. That's the entire problem. So, Sophie, I'm here right here. I know you are too. We can't be silent on it. That is exactly the problem with it. Is that it gets your voice as a victim gets silenced by this person who wants to dominate every piece of you, literally think they own you, control you, some of them to the point well, they will make the ultimate gesture of power and control, which is to take someone's life. I own you so much that I own your life. I can take it, keep it. I'll do what I want with you. That's how a lot of them think. I need to give it to you real. I need to give it to you raw. Because if anybody's patty caking, right? Y'all know the hand clapping games we used to play when we were kids? Okay, those are games. We can't patty cake this thing. We cannot, and I won't. I won't. All right, so let me just say a few other things. Domestic violence happens in every community. Wait, did I say that? Wait a minute. Let me make sure you heard me. Domestic violence happens in every community. It affects all people. Doesn't matter how old you are, your socioeconomic status. I don't care what your sexual orientation is, your gender, your race, your religion, your nationality. I am here to tell you the statistics make it 100% clear that domestic violence happens everywhere. It isn't isolated to the black girls or the quote unquote white girls. It's not isolated to just women. It happens to men. Yes, at a lower rate. Yes, at a smaller percentage. 85% women, 15% men. But does that mean you ignore it? No. Men have their own very specific issues when dealing with domestic violence. It is a real thing. Now, listen to me, y'all. If you have not shared this podcast, because I am going in and I'm going to keep going in. Y'all can tell if you can't tell I'm fired up tonight, you're not paying attention. So if you haven't shared this podcast, literally hit the share button, share it to your page, hit the share button, share it to one of your Facebook groups, or just tag a person in that you know needs to hear what I'm saying tonight. Because a part of the problem is we won't define this thing called domestic violence. We won't call it what a TI is. We won't call it by name. That's what I'm here to do. I'm going to call it by name. I'm defining it. I'm speaking it. I'm sharing my story because if you don't hear the testimonies, if you don't hear the examples, if you don't hear what it sounds like, you're going to miss it when it's happening to you because you're busy waiting for your eye to get black or your lip to be busted. Yep, that's part of domestic violence. But if you're waiting for those things, then you're missing the whole pattern that leads up to those things. Are you with me? Stay with me. Tag somebody. Think outside yourself because there's somebody you know that needs this. Make sure they get it. So let's talk about this. Domestic violence happens everywhere. Y'all ready? In America, women ages 18 to 34. I was right in that range. I was just below 34. Women ages 18 to 34 experience the highest rates of domestic violence. 18 to 34. Pay attention. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men experience sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner during their lifetime. Think about what 1 in 4 means. Okay, count that off. Y'all know how many quarters in a dollar? Four, right? 25 cents, a quarter. A quarter of the population of women experience this thing. Sit at work tomorrow, go to church next Sunday, and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop. Likely a victim of intimate partner violence. 1, 2, 3, 4. Likely a victim of intimate partner violence. 1 in 4 women, 25% of the female population has experienced physical violence, sexual violence, or stalking by an intimate partner during her lifetime. That is scary. And let me tell you something else. That's a statistic. Y'all know, like I know, that a lot of the cases and instances of domestic violence don't even get reported. So the 1 in 4 is probably more like 1 in 3 or 1 in 2. It's a serious thing that's happening. I won't stand by. I refuse to stand by. Having been a person who went through it, survived it, I refuse to be silent. I refuse to stand by and just let it keep happening. I'm going to do my part. Can I save everybody? No, I can't save them all. But guess what? If they can at least hear the message, if they can at least remember something I said in a moment when they're at a point where God is talking to them, where their mind is a little more open, and they remember something they heard on the podcast, or the fact that they can come back and listen to a podcast from me, a record of, hey, wait a minute, what she said sounds just like what I'm going through. If that can happen, if one, two, three women, four women, 10, two men, I don't care, I've done my part. More than 10 million adults experience domestic violence annually. 10 million. That's nothing to sneeze at, y'all. 10 million experience it annually. And on a typical day, domestic violence hotlines worldwide, nationwide, domestic violence hotlines nationwide receive over 19,000, not 19, not 1900, 19,000 calls on a typical day. like, like, people are talking about a pandemic right now, and I get it. And I understand because there are people getting sick and they're dying. But I need you to understand something here. This is the pandemic within the pandemic, and it's been going on longer than this thing that's been going on lately. So I just want to call attention to it. Marcus is on here. What's up, Marcus? Hey, good to see you. That's right. More power to you too, my brother. I appreciate you being on here. Okay. So here's my thing. I've been talking a lot already. How did the state of the world get this bad? How did it get here? Like, how? Well, listen, I have heard every explanation across the board, right? I have heard everything from male dominance in a patriarchal society. Okay, I can buy that for $1, right? Male dominance in a patriarchal society being the reason. I've also heard that abusers must have been abused, or victims must have been abused while they were growing up. So basically, it's a replay of what they saw in their childhood. Very possible. Actually, quite likely that can also happen. I've also even heard this one. You ready for this one, Marcus? I've heard this one too. Marcus is a ministry man, so that's why I said Marcus. All right. I've also heard that it has to do with the warning that God gave to Eve way back in Genesis 3 and 16, which essentially said, your desire will be for your husband, yet he will rule over you, right? Marcus, I'm chiming on that any day now, but that was another one I heard. So from the patriarchal society to we were warned about it in the Bible because of the sin that entered the world through Adam and Eve. I have heard it all. But here's this thing. I cannot point to just one thing as to the reason why. I'm sure it's all the stuff I already said and more, right? But what I can do this. I can share the truth that I know to help you attack this thing and keep it away from you in your personal life, or to recognize it when it comes your way. I can do that because way too many people have misconceptions about how abuse starts and how it becomes a cycle. So I'm here to bring some clarity, and that's my job, right? That's the journey. That is the ministry that God has me in right now in this season of my life, and I'm going to stay here until He tells me that I've done all I need to do. Okay. Now, from the perspective of a victim, let's talk about the how it starts and the how it becomes a cycle. Okay. From the perspective of a victim, many people, men and women, let's not forget the men. Okay, I have to say that men and women who experience domestic violence, more specifically, as I said earlier, they call it intimate partner violence. A lot of times, y'all, and I didn't either. This is me. This is my truth. I did not have a real or accurate, let me put it that way, or accurate definition of abuse. So I didn't really have an idea of how to classify the things that were happening to me. I certainly didn't say in the beginning, that's abuse. You're abusing me and I know it. Right? I didn't have that, right? Or from a victim's perspective, some victims actually recognize that they are being mistreated, that they are being treated wrong, but they won't define it as abuse unless and until there is some sort of physical aggression, a punch, a slap, a kick, strangling. Then those really crazy, extreme behaviors, that's abuse. So they're waiting for the physical abuse when all along the way, they haven't acknowledged that they've been being abused the entire time. And that's what a lot of us miss. Too many of us think that just because the abuse is not physical, because it hasn't turned into a black eye yet, then it isn't a problem. And I want to be the one to tell you if that's how you think. If you are waiting for the punch or the slap or someone's hands to be around your throat, trust me, it didn't just start there. They've been working up to that point all along in your relationship. And maybe, just maybe, you weren't ready to admit it to yourself. Okay, that's a hard one to swallow. I know. So let's just take a pause, let that digest, because maybe, just maybe, you weren't ready to admit that what you were going through was abuse. It happens, y'all. It happens to the best of us. All right. So that was from the victim's perspective, right? As to why abuse becomes this cycle and how it starts and all of that. From the perspective of the abuser, it is all about power and control. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. Don't let them tell you it's about love. Don't let them I miss you. I'm just so jealous when you're around other people. None of that. It is bottom line power and control. It is so good to see y'all on here, man. I'm telling y'all, I love y'all for this. I love you for joining me every week. Hey, listen, if you are on here and you haven't yet shared this, please do. I know I keep saying it, but this isn't about just me. It is about the message that is coming out of me to know God has me sharing. And I don't want anyone who is supposed to hear it to miss it. So please share this podcast. Please share it or tag somebody in that you know needs to hear. All right, so back to the perspective of the abuser. It is all about power and control. Bottom line, they want total domination, total dominion over another human being who, just like them, has a beating heart, blood running through their veins, and family and friends who love them. So let me just say this because this is just something that I find interesting. And I had this experience myself. These abusers, these people who batter women or women who batter men, they trip me up. Let me tell you why. Because they are some of the same people who got the nerve to be mad and they out there marching when the cops beat up a black person or kill a black person, or they mad about what happened Jim Crow, and they're mad about what happened to Jews because of the Holocaust, and they're mad about all these things that are done wrong to people. How dare they do that to people? These are the same people that stand out there talking about black power, black people getting mistreated. And you got the nerve to go back home and call your wife a bitch, throw her against the wall, do all these kinds of things, but you out here to the world pretending that you care about the lives of other people. Whatever. These are some of the same people that are doing these things to the people they claim they love, but yet they're out here acting like they are enraged about how blacks are treated or Jews are treated or Asians are treated. Whatever. You doing this crap in your own home to probably a person that mothered your child, but yet you so mad about what's happening to somebody you don't even freaking know. Yeah, okay. Save it for somebody that's convinced because it ain't me. All right. People who abuse their girlfriends, their boyfriends, their husbands, their wives, they literally take, this is something I want to say to y'all. So if you're a note taker or you just want a point that you want to hold on to before you leave this podcast tonight, I want you to hold on to this one. You listening? Listen, people who abuse their girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, they literally take the best parts, the very best parts of you, and they twist them into knots and they make them like they're disgusting or bad or worthless. The very best parts of you. I want you to think about you just for a moment, okay? For all y'all that's on here, I want you to think about you for just a moment. Tell me, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Listen, I want to read it. Put the comment in here. Tell me what are some of your best qualities, some of your best traits. Type them in here real quick. Put them in here, whatever it is for you. Okay. Maybe it's the fact that you are a very loyal person. Are you a very loyal person? That's a great quality to have. Like you are someone who, when you love, and if then you got that person's back, they got your back. You're loyal. Send me some comments about the things that some of the very best traits, characteristics, the best qualities that you have. What about your empathy? Are you a very empathetic person? Meaning you are concerned about somebody else's well being, their feelings, their heart, their situation, their issues, because you literally can transplant yourself into their place and say, gosh, if that happened to me, I know how it will make me feel. And so I care about the fact that it's happening to you. What about your sense of responsibility? I'm an extremely responsible person. That's one of the best parts of me. So, are you a person that wants to make sure everyone is good, that all the bills are paid? That's so me. That you will take up the slack for others? That is so me. I know me. Listen, y'all, the unfortunate fact of abuse and abusers is that they take the very best parts of you, your very best qualities. Because all the things I named, loyalty, empathy, responsibility, somebody who's responsible, those are beautiful, phenomenal, amazing qualities. But in the hands of an abuser, let's be clear, y'all, in the hands of an abuser, at the whims of an abuser, the best parts of you will become your own enemy. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? I want y'all to talk to me. Send me some comments because this is important. The very best parts of you, whether it's loyalty, empathy, your ability to be responsible, whatever it is, in the hands of an abuser, the very best parts of you will become your own enemy. They will absolutely take advantage of those things. They will exploit you. This is reality. So I'm telling you this because I need you to know. I need you to be clear. This is no game. This is no joke. This is such a serious situation that if somebody doesn't take the time to explain it, if somebody doesn't take a moment to break it down, like we like to say, you will miss it. And abuse is so bad. And since it's so hard to stop these abusive relationships once they're emotion, oh my God, they are so hard to stop. So, since they are so hard to stop once they're emotion, then my goal is to do everything I can, God. My goal is to do everything I can to keep you from ever being in that situation. That's my goal. Why do I care so much? Why do I sit here and do this podcast every week? Hmm. Well, the answer to that question will take us back to that word that I said earlier, testimony. My truth, my story, the power of my truth, the power of my story in the hands of others. That's why it's that important. All right. I miss y'all. I'm so happy y'all here every week. Gosh. Oh my gosh. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everybody that's on here. All right. So let me just take a step back, y'all, because it's already 7:40. And I want to say a few things. Now, you guys kind of know my story. I've been talking about it for a while. I was married for about 6 years, and I went through a wedding, a marriage that was amazing in the beginning, a relationship that seemed amazing in the beginning, and it became abusive. And I suffered. I remember the first time he put his hands on me. I remember it was a punch push kind of thing right in my chest. And you couldn't have told me. My daughter was just under 2 years old. You couldn't have told me that that man was going to put his hands on me. And that day, he did. And in my mind, I know what everybody said. If they do it once, they'll do it again. But God, I just thought I waited this long to get married. I mean, am I gonna call the police on my daughter's father? Like, I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna destroy our family? Like, I thought that it was my responsibility to figure out what to do with what he just did. You listen to me? My responsibility to figure out what to do with what he just did to me. Was he somewhere figuring it out? Hell no. He was waiting to see if I was gonna bounce or stay. That's all. I think he was just like, now, if she don't run or walk away after this, I got her. I bet you that's what he was thinking. But anyway, I can think of many other moments of abuse in my relationship. I just didn't see them as abuse, right? I didn't have the proper definition. And let me tell them to y'all because you'll miss them if you don't have it either. I remember the repeated comparisons to his exes, ex-wives, ex-whatevers. I remember that. He'd be like, look, listen, but you can go have her, okay? Because you here, you ain't there. So if you want her, go get her. I remember always defending myself in arguments that I didn't start. Listen to me, y'all. These are the things that are the little they're letting you know you're walking in from the healthy to the unhealthy to the abusive. This is what it looks like. I remember always seeming like I was in trouble with him. I felt like I was always in trouble with him. Could have been the simplest thing that I didn't do right, or a conversation I had on the phone, or I spoke to a guy that I've known for forever at work that I ain't nowhere near interested in, but yet I was doing something wrong. It was somebody I knew way before him, right? But it was a problem. I can think of so many things. I was always defending myself down to if something of his got broken, had to be my fault. Had to be. Listen to me, y'all. I was increasingly responsible for everything. Pay attention. Is he taking a step back while you keep taking more and more steps up and steps forward? Meaning now I'm responsible for this. Now I'm paying for his mama or his daddy's that. Now I'm doing this for his kids. Now I'm doing stay with me. This is real talk. I'm responsible for the bills. How did I become responsible for everything? Too responsible. Boundaries. Boundaries, y'all. I remember him taking and spending my money without my approval. I remember all of that. Those were huge arguments, and it kept happening. It got worse. I remember him interrupting my sleep. Listen to me, y'all. Sleep deprivation is a real part of abuse. Sleep deprivation is a real part of abuse. I remember not being constantly woken up. Is that a word? Is woken a word? Awaken. But sleep deprivation is a part of it. If you are sleep deprived, or you're not sleeping enough, or you're constantly on edge, then you can't possibly be on your square, and you can't possibly be ready for what's coming for you, and you can't possibly see clearly what's happening to you. You're too tired, you're too overworked, you're too responsible for everything that's going on. And when something goes wrong, a bill doesn't get paid, this gets cut off, that doesn't get purchased, guess whose fault it is? It's yours. And the more they can make you responsible for things like that, the more they can make you responsible for making them happy, for pleasing them, so that you're always in trouble. And when you don't do something right, well, then look, you were responsible and you didn't do it right. So now I got all the reason to get on you and to abuse you. Man, save it. Now that I know the tricks, it'll never happen again. Stealing my car keys, y'all. Stealing my car keys in an effort to take my car and hide it from me. No, I'm not joking. I'm not playing. Stealing my car keys in an effort to take my car and hide it so I couldn't get to work. I couldn't be mobile. I had to depend on him. Please give me my keys back. Don't take my car. Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something real quick. Let me tell you something real quick. When that happened, the Philly girl kicked in. The Philly girl kicked in. I jumped inside that same car in the passenger seat, and I said, "You taking my car somewhere? Then you taking me with you. I ain't getting out this car. We gonna fight for this car and over these keys." And guess what? The Philly girl in me took over, and I got those keys back. Yes, I did. We fought for them keys and fought right in the the front passenger and driver's seat of that car. Yes, we did. We sat there and fought. Now, that was the first time, unfortunately, I got exposed to what it felt like to be put into a headlock by him. That was the unfortunate result of me getting my keys back, and I could not breathe, and I had to kind of turn my head sideways to try to catch a breath of air. So I fought for my keys so that he couldn't destroy what I was doing at work and destroy my ability to be in motion. But I was put in a headlock as a result of that, and I'll never forget that. I have experienced him threatening to leave me and my daughter and move back to California. All that over and over and over again. I need y'all to hear the sounds of abuse. Stop looking for someone to swing on you. Yes, that happens, but it almost never happens first. It's all these other things that look like, oh, couples just fight. We had a fight. People who they fight. Stop all that. Stop all the being okay with fights. Enough. Enough. It's unhealthy, and unhealthy leads to abusive. I want every single person listening right now. Stop saying couples fight. Stop saying that to kids. Stop saying that to teenagers. Stop saying it to yourself, because it is phrases like that that allow abuse to creep in, and then you don't know where the line is anymore because couples fight, right? Stop saying it. You shouldn't be fighting. Nobody should be fighting you. And if they are fighting you, then you need to get away from them. You need to escape and break free because I promise you, fighting leads to very bad things. And sometimes you never hear again to fight or live another day. So many people have lost their lives in situations of abuse. I'm going to tell you like it is. Because if somebody doesn't talk to you and speak to you plainly about what's going on, if somebody doesn't tell it to you like it is, mom says, if somebody doesn't keep it real, you will miss it. You will miss that you are always seem to be in trouble with them. And you'll just think, maybe I did really make a mistake. You will miss that when they take and spend your money and they give you some excuse for the fifth time, sixth time, seventh time, you won't think, oh, well, maybe he just misunderstood my instructions. No, that's called financial abuse. When you said no, that you didn't want to have sex like that, that's called sexual abuse. Sexual abuse. And I don't care if you're married to them. If you said no, it freaking means no. Are you with me? So let's keep going. When I got away from my ex husband, it was in December 2017. It was the weekend that he thought that it was okay. Like, all right, I'm pissed. How dare you invite your mom and your sister to this city and state? How dare you think your mom and your sister's coming up into my house? First of all, let's set the record all the way straight. That was my house that I bought in June of 2009 as a single, working, corporate, smart, educated, successful Black woman, not his house. Okay, let's be clear. So he had the how dare you bring them, and I'm going to do everything to you to make you so scared that they will even never even come to Charlotte, or they will never come into my house, is what his plan was. So he did everything from try to throw Drano on me. Y'all know the story. Try to throw Drano, attack me in the shower 2 different times. I went and cut my hair that weekend, by the way. It's longer now, but I cut my hair. That's the weekend I said, no more. No more of this. I will tolerate no more. The last thing he did that weekend in December was that he decided, I'm going to show her how in control I am. He went to Home Depot, bought all new locks, changed all the locks on my house, forcing me to ask him for and then fight him for a copy of my keys to my own home. I need you to understand the progression, though. He didn't start with the Drano, y'all. He started with Tiffany bracelets and Coach bags, right? That's where he started. And it went to comparing me to his ex. And it went to arguing all the time. And it went to taking my money, my debit cards, and it progressed and progressed. So again, I say, stop waiting for the punch. Stop waiting for the slap. Why? Because that makes it easier for you to define that he abused you, and everything else seems like we can get through it. It's going to be all right. It was probably my fault anyway. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Don't you accept blame for that. Don't you accept blame for it. So I'm going to keep going because I just got some important things to say to y'all. It was the Monday after all that crazy weekend that I was able to get my protection order. That was a major, major change in my life. Oh, I got a lot of comments in here. Thank you. Yes, sleep deprivation. It is a part of domestic abuse. I promise you. Excuse me. Norma said, tell it, sis. Let these young girls know what abuse look like. I have got to tell y'all, it ain't cute. It ain't cute when he hemming you up in the corner in the hallway at your high school and you standing like this because you don't want everybody to know you're arguing. So you just trying to look like it's all good. It's not all good, baby girl. He should not have you hemmed up in a corner in the hallway of your high school telling you where you going after this. You better not be this kind of whisper yelling. You know how that is, right? Nah, baby girl, to my teens, to my young adults, y'all face it too. The statistics say 18 to 34. Okay? Happens in high school too. All right. I'm getting close to the end. So I got to say a few things. It sucks the very life out of you. Yes, it does, Norma. Thank you. Hey, Debbie, look. Hey, I got Keisha on. I got Coach K, and I got that's what I'm talking about. Y'all coming out to see me tonight. I appreciate y'all. So let me just say a few things because I gotta make sure y'all really understand what's going on here. Okay, I'm talking. Y'all are here. Y'all listening. I appreciate the comments, and I'm getting very firm and very serious because I swear to you, if I don't say it like this, if I don't say it with the emphasis, you might not catch my vibe. And my vibe is I ain't playing. We can't play with this thing. We absolutely cannot play with this thing. Lives are at stake. So before the abuse happens, it happens because many victims think they are starting a beautiful relationship. I know I did. I thought I was starting a beautiful relationship. When in fact, unfortunately, I was actually on a speeding train down a track to abuse from day one, y'all. I didn't know. But now to have the details about him and to know what happened along the way, oh my God, from day one. To know the other women from day one. To know the truth, and I have all kinds of real proof, it was from day one. Okay. Yes, they picked you. Here's a hard truth. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yes, they picked you. It's hard to admit, but you were their ideal person. I was at that time his ideal person, but not for the reasons that I would have thought. In my case, I was young, educated, I was never married, I had no kids, I was sexy and chocolate. Okay, that's my part. That's the part I had. But y'all get my point, right? I was all of this. But I was also what I told y'all earlier. The best parts of you are what they use against you. I was compassionate. I was responsible. I was very empathetic. I was very loyal. And he read all of that into me. So abusers will often ask you a lot of questions. Listen to me. This is when I want to tell y'all just to shut up sometime. I had to learn how to shut up sometimes. Hey, y'all. I love these comments on here. Abusers will ask you a lot of questions about your past, your family, your desires, because what are they doing? They are trying to assess your weaknesses. Absolutely. Meaning how far your boundary, your boundaries, how far they can be pushed. They're trying to figure out where those cracks are in your dam, who they need to become. Listen, this is what they're really trying to do. They're trying to figure out who they need to become to get you so that you will fall ever so far in love. Exactly what they're doing. Woo! Lord have mercy. This is no joke. This is no joke. Y'all, I just want to make sure y'all know because if I don't give it to you the way I know it happens, especially how many survivors I've talked to, y'all know I've had a lot of survivors on my show. I have talked to a lot of in the moment, like I'm actually trying to get out of my situation victims and survivors who are out. And I'm telling y'all, the stories are also similar. And once these abusers know that you are their ideal victim, right? That your family's far enough away, they can isolate you. I'm just saying, I'm just talking real. It's not just me. I'm sure some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Once they know that you're their ideal victim, then they start this grooming process and it goes into full swing and it goes fast. They get you moved in quick. They get, oh my God, y'all, listen, this thing is real. It happened just like this to me. Some of y'all on here could be like this. Amen, girl. High five, girl. Right? just like that. They make sure that you think you're in love. They make sure that you think you're in love and that you both are in love with each other, but actually you're the only one. You are the only one that's actually in love. The grooming process is crazy, y'all, when I think back to it. So they're essentially trying to control everything about you. I'm going to say a few things. So I'm getting close to the end. And I want to say a couple things just to set your mind clear and straight. Here's the deal. I want you to hear me. I'm getting close to the screen because I need you to hear me. The behavior of abusers is calculated. It is a choice, okay? They are not crazy. They are not sick. And they are not confused about what they're doing and purposefully they are doing it. So they are not angry with you. Do not let that crap sink into your mind. He's angry with me. He was so angry. He was just angry because nope, but That word because, the connecting of the appearance of anger to what you did, I need you to get that word because, throw it away. Cut it out. Because anger would suggest that you actually did something to make them angry. But let me tell you, these two letters, no, that is not what happened. Because it doesn't matter, y'all. It doesn't matter what you do or what you don't do. They are going to abuse you. If you listen to what I said earlier, this was the plan from day one. You were the ideal victim. I hate saying that word, but it's true. You were the ideal victim. Abusers are manipulators. They feel no empathy. So that thing in you, that empathy, that loyalty, that compassion, that dedication, that responsibility, all the best parts of you, nah, they don't have that. Don't go looking for a conscience. Oh, that's the wrong thing to do. I shouldn't treat people this way. You can forget it. That's exactly what they want to do, is treat people that way. They are manipulators who feel no empathy, and they want total dominion over you through creating fear. Stay with me. Because listen, I told y'all in the beginning why I'm here. Bring awareness, break down facades, and build conquerors. Didn't I tell you I was here to do this? Domestic violence doesn't only happen to women who are unemployed. Let's get the nonsense off the table. Because a lot of people are like, oh, she must have just needed a man to help take care of her 3 kids. Or she must have been broke, because why else would she take that kind of behavior from somebody? Or, she don't know no better because of this. Look at where she from. She from the hood. No, back up. Everybody stop, pump the brakes. Domestic violence does not only happen to women who need a man or got 3, 4, 5 kids, or who are unemployed, or who from the hood. Yep, I'm from the hood. I'm from them streets in Philly, Price Street. But I rose above that, right? I found my path. I got my education. I did my career thing. I'm nobody's dummy. It has nothing to do with smart or dumb. Can we be clear? It has nothing to do with smart or dumb. But what it does have everything to do with the power and control in the best parts of you being exploited. You having to understand, how do I take the best parts of me and set some boundaries around those best parts of me? Because there unfortunately are people out there who will take those best parts, push your boundaries, and essentially try to destroy your life, completely dominate you. That's the reality. Doesn't make you smart, doesn't make you dumb. It's just a fact. Abuse happens everywhere. So I just want to make sure we say that don't put it on people. Don't make it feel like, well, she must be just dumb. Nope. It's power and control. It's dominion. And let me say this in the end, okay? Because now I'm at my closing. Power and control. Power and control. It is unfortunate. Y'all listen, the one thing that abusers cannot stand is time. Listen to me. They can't stand time, because the facade that they have up, a little mask that they're wearing for a while, that mask, they can only wear it for so long. That facade can only last for so long. And if you make them wait, I know I sound like your mama right now. I know I sound like mama, G-mom, whatever y'all call her, your grandmother. I know. But I'm telling you, as a 44-year-old woman, if you can make them wait, if you can slow them down, then you will find out all that you need to know, because they can only hide their mess for so long. I can promise you that. And that gives you time to do the digging you need to do. Yep, I run background checks on every single one of them now. Every one of them, I run background checks. Don't care if I don't have a first and a last name and a birthday. We ain't got nothing to talk about, sir. I mean that 100, because I will not be back in that situation. And let me find a thing that sounds like fraud, or a thing that sounds like you even slightly went to go slap. I don't care if you went to go slap your dog. You won't be dating me, period. So here's the thing. I'm going to say this and I repeat it. I told y'all I'm a marketing person, I'm a business person. And the truth of the matter is, the more you say something, The more you give someone a concept to hold on to, the more they remember it, the more it's top of mind when the situation arises. Okay. So hear this. After I got out of my situation, a family friend of ours, her name was Jack. Jack, I love you wherever you are for this. She told me something I'll never forget, ever, 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 ever forget. And because she realized that all I was ever talking about was him. He did this to me, and I leave him nameless because I need to, right? It doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. But I was always at that time, he mattered. He mattered so much. What he did to me, what he said to me, what he was taking me through in court, all these things, right? I was so frustrated because I was like, he did this to me. He made me a single parent. I wasn't supposed to be a single parent. I waited to get married. I waited to have a child, and this is what I got. He did this. He. And Jack said, enough. My nickname is Shorty. I told y'all this. Enough, Shorty. Stop, stop, stop. She basically said, stop talking about what he did to you. Listen to me, y'all. This is for my ladies, especially for my ladies. Stop talking about what he did to you. It isn't about him. Woo! I remember this like yesterday. She said, it isn't about him. She said, put a paper bag over his face and focus on the personalities. She essentially said, stop looking for him. Stop looking for him. Because if you keep looking for him, you will focus on him and his name and what he did. And in the meantime, the other guy that's coming named Mark or Jason or Kevin or Daryl, you're going to miss that Mark or Jason or Kevin or Daryl is just like him because you're looking for him. Put a paper bag over every face of every person that you meet. Focus on the personality. Focus on the energy. Focus on the behaviors. Are they unhealthy or healthy? Are they unhealthy or abusive? You got to focus on personality. I will never forget that. Do y'all have any idea how many paper bags I didn't put over faces to this point? A whole lot. Listen, I appreciate y'all coming. Y'all are killing it tonight. Thank y'all so much. So I said a lot. It's 8:00. Y'all know it's important to end on something positive. I think it's very important to end on something positive as I close out because it's very easy to get caught in this moment and what you hear really gets to you, right? It stirs up old feelings. I get that. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I got a little music playing in the background. It's kind of like church when the pastor closes the service and the guy jumps up and he jumps on the organ and he starts playing that music that we all know from church. Oh, we know that music. I ain't that good. I ain't got no organ player right here, but I got some background music. So listen, I'm gonna say a few positive affirmations, and I have to because a lot of the stuff that y'all are thinking about when you get off this podcast, it bubbles up from your past. So what I want you to know, what I want you to be assured of is that you were never to blame. I was never to blame for what occurred. You were never to blame for what occurred. You are not by yourself. I am here every single Sunday. There are women who join this podcast every single Sunday because there's a message and they are building up their repertoire of words because they are doing it for themselves and doing it for the next person who may need that message. You are stronger than you know. You are way stronger than you know or think. You define you, not anybody else, not him, not them. Who are they? You define you. You know you best. Let me tell you who else who defines you. God defines you. So let's be clear. You can break free and not just that you can do it. You must absolutely do it. Absolutely. It does get better. It does get easier. One day at a time. Are you hearing me? It does get better. It does get easier. One day at a time. All right, y'all. This is the end. I am so grateful for every single one of y'all joining me tonight. This is phenomenal. I felt it. I felt all of your energy. And so I hope I gave you what you needed as you are on your journey to helping other victims and survivors, or just talking to your family or friends, or to your girls, your daughters, your sons, to make sure they are neither getting in relationships of abuse or being abusers themselves. So I thank y'all so much. It has been a wonderful night. Thank you, because some of y'all shared it. I know y'all did. Y'all shared it. Y'all tagged people. You commented. Y'all are some of the best people to join my podcast ever. I'm so grateful for y'all. All right, it's Sunday. Start getting your behind ready for work. What you doing? I bet you ain't ironed no clothes. You ain't packed no lunches yet. You ain't do none of that. All right, I'm going to miss y'all till next Sunday. So in the month of February, let me just say this. In the month of February, I'm going to go back to having more guests. For whatever reason, God put on my heart for this to be a teaching month. January is a teaching month for me. February, I'll go back to having guests, okay? All right, I love y'all so much. Just know I'm here. Y'all see my baby? She on camera. I'm going to beat her butt. See that? I'm going to get her for doing that. I'm gonna get her for that. All right, good night, y'all. I love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.